Well, I've pressed the button again, ladies and gentlemen, and it's episode 53 of the Ladies Wot Pod on Christmas Eve.
Eve.
Yes, I'm Claire Jones, and I'm still on the edge of the fence. Who are you?
I think...
This is W. Well, this is S.
You see, you don't know who I am. I'm not sure who I am.
It's all gone to hell in a handcart. The mud's still in my ears.
It certainly has. My name is Liz Saunders, and I have got a horrible cold. Please feel very sorry for me, because I'm feeling very sorry for myself. And I live in South Northamptonshire with my cold.
You're not going to get sympathy by coughing, you know.
No, I'm going for the sort of Les Dames au Camille sort of. I might fade away at any point whilst robustly singing an operatic aria. Have you ever noticed, just completely off topic, that, you know, La Traviata, isn't it, where she's dying of consumption? Well, I mean, most of those lasses that sing opera, you know, you look at them and you go, well, you're giving that some welly, lass, and you look as if you're not anywhere near the edge of death's door. Well, only... Anyway, it's neither here nor there. So, but yes, so... I'm going to leap in now. Who am I? Yes, chairman of Saint Supporters Club. So I didn't go to the game yesterday, but I did go off to see the bus set off, the coach of supporters, jolly supporters set off. It was all decorated for Christmas. And they got Sonny Tongaweir and Aidan Ainsworth Cave as their players on the bus. And they got a raffle, and they even remembered to bring the players back. So it sounded like they'd all had a good time on the bus, if nothing else. So
excellent. Well done to Aidan.
Thank you to everyone and thank you to everyone who travelled with us and who supported the raffle. I said to Sonny, I said, right, I'm relying on you two to go and sell the raffle tickets. I said, you don't really even have to say anything. You can just loom at people if you like, Sonny. Oh, I can do that, Liz. I can loom at people.
What props do, isn't it?
Loom.
Although Aidan is not a prop, but he can loom. No. He's very tall. He can do it.
He's very tall. He could. Yes. Yeah.
Well, they look very happy by the time they got to the StoneX.
Well, I was going to say they're probably very happy they weren't having to be part of that. Oh, words, clean words, please come forward.
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
That performance yesterday, yes.
That performance yesterday, yeah. Well, yes. So I was at the StoneX. It was my, as a photographer, it was my delight to be somewhere where it wasn't muddy. More of that when we talk about Chinnor. But it was my second match of the weekend, and I was in the press room. And I was sorting out my gear and had a quick chat with Stephen Myler, who was working with Graham on Radio Northampton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And one of the guys looked at me, and apart from being very complimentary about my photography, which was very kind of him, Todd's not known for doing that. He looked in my bag and noticed the wet gear. So I've got my chamois leathers and whatever. And he went, "You're not going to need those today." And I went, "Oh, no, don't be saying things like that. No, just don't be saying that."
Foolish man.
Foolish man. As I was sat in the first half with the rain coming horizontally.
Dripping.
Now, I was sat next to Bull. Everybody loves Bull.
Oh, Bull.
Yes. And I told him the story of the TV cameraman at Toman Park with his box of tissues. Bull, does have his camera covered in whatever, but he uses a chamois leather too, so I'm not alone.
No.
Yes, so
tissues just become papier-mâché.
Well, that's what happened to the poor man in Limerick. So yes, so it was a dark grey day. It started off very nicely, but it rapidly went downhill, and it was just damp, cold. Meh. Right. Well, anyway,
right. Right, the first half happened.
Not as cold as it was last year. You remember, it was bolting.
Oh, yes.
Last year.
Yes.
And I know they've all been in 30-odd degree heat, so relatively it might have felt a lot colder. But for the rest of us who've been here all the time, it wasn't as cold as last year.
It's last year.
And the first half...
Yeah. I've watched it back. Fortunately, I could fast forward through all the bits that we weren't really very involved in. So the first half, when you're doing that, lasts about 3 minutes, something like that. It's anyway.
I had Lewis Dean, who was sat next to me, and I had the challenge of trying to get something out of the nonsense that was going on in front of us. We're going to absolutely not call out any individual players. That's not what we do. We lose as a team. We win as a team.
And to be honest, I think they were all fairly rubbish, to be honest.
Collectively, yeah, it was not a... No.
Collectively subpar. When
we sat down for the second half, I looked at Lewis and said, "Oh, have you been in the changing room?" And his eyes went like, "What?" Our videographer did not, unsurprisingly, go in the changing room because I think he, as a small... gentleman, he, would have... No. Felt, no. So I dread to think what was going on in there, but I can't imagine it was very pleasant.
It did show you on TNT. They got a camera in there.
Oh, yes,
well,
of course they got a camera in there. Was animated Douse?
Douse was very animated. Now, I'm not a great lip reader. However, there were quite a lot of there's quite a lot of sweary words by the look of things. Flipping heck.
Well, I did like in his post-match interview. He described himself as being annoyed.
I think somewhere beyond annoyed. I think it was like, yes. He was so angry he wasn't even doing the disappointed. It was.
We've gone beyond disappointed.
Pointy this and yeah, it was all.
It was also one of those days that whatever Saracens did, the ball kindly bounced in their favour. They were the most ridiculous bouncers of the ball. What was going on there? I was like, some of the stuff that was happening in front of me. I do have to ask, why did we have Fremo as lead tackler on Tom Willis? That seemed a little strange.
Well,
but fair dues, he got stuck in. Actually, and if it wasn't Fremo, it was Finn. So it was a bit weird. Anyway, there was all sorts of... And the ball, inevitably, if it was dropped or something, or somebody did something, it would bounce happily into the hands of a Saracens player. And you're thinking, it's just one of those days.
It was... Yeah. I mean, I know they say you make your own luck, and it was definitely one of those days when we weren't playing well and nothing conspired to help us.
No,
everything.
It was
just running away from us the whole time.
I still can't stand music during a game. I'm just call me old-fashioned. It just does not work for me.
Absolutely with you.
I just can't do it. And I know I'm an old git. Get with the program, Jones. But I just can't do it. I get the need to play music when a try is scored and all that malarkey. But during the game, or while somebody's being tended to, it just doesn't feel right.
No, just don't. It's not right. It's not right. It's disrespectful.
It's not right. It's just not right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Talking about while somebody's being tended to through injury.
Yeah.
This was actually once, I thought Matthew Carley would not have put up with that. So, Maritoji is yellow carded for his reckless, at best, tackle on Tom Lockett. Now, to me, I think he was very lucky to get away with the yellow card because I know Tom Lockett was dropping. Tom Lockett is dropping from 6'5". Maritoji was never in a position. He went in upright, never in a position, never low. Anyway.
No attempt to get low, I think was
no attempt whatsoever. So, yellow card. Okay, fair enough. So he then spends the first, whilst Tom Lockett's spreading on the ground and being tended to by the medics, wandering around, talking to his teammates about what they have to do. He'd been given the yellow card, shown the yellow card, and at that point, as far as I would think the interpretation of the laws is you leave the field and you have no more influence on play until you come back on in 10 minutes.
You could say it didn't work because TP scored.
Well, you could say. However, that's not really the point, is it? I mean, it's pushing the boundaries the whole time.
Yes, there was a lot of boundary pushing. Yes, you felt the toddlers in black were boundary pushing a lot and getting away with it. Yeah.
Getting away with it. And I just thought, Matthew Carley wouldn't have had that. He'd have been, off. I've given you a yellow card. If you don't walk now, it'll be a red.
What was the fourth official doing? He should have been ensuring Itoje left the field to play. So not. No. Yeah. So not great.
Anyway, it was good to see Tom Lockett get back up to his feet and walk off the pitch. And,
absolutely. I was a bit when the stretcher came out. I was thinking, oh my God, what is occurring?
Yeah. Isn't it awful? It's even worse when you know the parents. Hi, Kerry and Andy. That you just think, oh God, what must they be feeling? It was heart in mouth moment.
It must have been horrid, and particularly as they were side on because they were in the Lego stand opposite. I wasn't the bringer of good news for Kerry before the game when I said, "Oh no, the wind's worse in that stand." She was hoping for an improvement on the previous year. I think she'd been better off in the stand than she was in last year because in the second half, it wasn't too bad. That's just to double it up.
Anyway. So first half was a lot to them and not a lot to us. So second half, we trundle in and animated douse in the changing rooms. Everybody looking a little scared, if I'm honest. I think there was this, what have we done? You know when you're when you're young and you're used to pushing your mum, and then she goes off on one, and you think, "Bugger, I've really done it this time." And there was quite a lot of that around the changing room. Oh, we've really upset Dad this time. What have we done? So they trotted out in the second half, and suddenly it was like a different team. They really had booked their ideas up, and the commitment and the attitude changed completely. So
it was an extraordinary performance in the second half, and much better. But it was all too late. That was the problem. I mean, I did point out rather hopefully when it was 24-0, and then it went to 24-7. I looked at Lewis and went, "Remember, we were 26-0 down at Exeter."
Yeah.
And I knew I was just joshing because the chances of coming back against a team like Saracens were very small. But I think fair dues to the team and fair dues to those that came on. I think the
replacements are all huge difference.
Made a real difference.
Yeah.
And they kept going. Such that they secured a bonus point, which, if you just said that at the start of the second half, the way we played in the first half, it looked a million miles away.
It absolutely did. And looking at they scored 2 of those tries after all the replacements had come on. So I felt we were missing Tamo in the when they were scoring mauling tries. I felt we were missing a bit of Tamo's grunt. We need a bit of that.
The grunt, that's absolutely the case. But we had one scrum cap replacing another scrum cap.
We did. And did you find out? Do they have one each? Do they have one each?
You and Dr. Jones have this idea that Nathan and Curtis have to share a scrum cap.
No, I don't know. No, I think it's more Dr. T's idea because I find that foul and abhorrent.
But they do look remarkably similar. And the fact he was having to sort of fiddle with it, you're thinking... Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sate number 2107, Nathan Langdon, congratulations.
Yeah. It was, well played, Nathan. Yeah.
Well played, Nathan. He came on. He put it about a bit. And we're back to having a brother replacing a brother, just like the old days.
But it's different because you could never mistake beef for Al, could you? Sue and beef were totally different.
Quite different characters.
This pair, when you see them running around, which one is it? What? Because of the scrum hat as well, but the physically the way they move looks so similar.
They look very similar, and they play in a very similar way. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and I was delighted to be able to take the debut photo of Nathan with his brother and then with his mum and dad after the game. So that was great. Dr. Jones has asked for a shout out, not for him personally, but for the Chinnor Munga fan club who sat near him for the game, and every time Chinnor got the ball, they went absolutely nuts. Cheering him on. They can't. Tim doesn't think they were more than about 10 or 12 years old, but they were fabulous and loud and proud. We think they must be from either his junior club days or his London Irish days, and they've come up to see him. And he made a point of going to find them after the game and was signing stuff. Well done, Chinnor. And it's great to see youngsters, following the game. Good on them.
Yeah, and they'd be hard pressed to find a better role model. I think he's such a delightful young man and a very talented player as well. So
absolutely. So congratulations to them. The bonus point try, I think Archie.
Oh, Archie!
That George Hendy Archie break was a thing of beauty.
It was absolute beauty,
and I was so pleased for Archie because there was nothing going to stop him. He absolutely nailed it, and so well done, Archie. Brilliant try. I have to say, Fremo's try just looked like a man that thought, "Oh, sod this! I'm just going to." And he scored exactly the same try in the same game last year. He just put his head down and went for it. And just sailed through. Thank you to the substitutes who were warming up in front of me. So I got Fremo's dive with a large bloke in a bench coat. When you've had a frustrating game like that, fortunately I got his run,
anyway,
even if I didn't get the dive. But well done, Archie. Top work.
Yeah, lovely try. Lovely try. Really pleased for him.
And
I think.
Oh, hello. No,
I was going to say. I was just thinking about Archie because he's such a talented player, and he's following in Mitch's shadow, but actually he's not.
No, he's ploughing his own way of doing stuff. Yeah.
He is, as talented as Mitch. He is just 7 years younger. Sorry, Mitch.
Yeah. Yes. Well, it was the same when, if you think about it, Mitch went through the same cycle.
Yes, exactly. But I suppose, he's, Mitch being touted as in the world's top 2 of scrum halves and stuff. But no, Archie, I thought Archie, when he came on, played really well, and have a lot of faith in our Arch.
Our Arch is, he's a talent. I did point out to him before the game that he did well to avoid the mud at Chinnor. More of that in a moment.
Yes, more of that later. So moving on. So we managed to claw out a try bonus point out of that, which is something, and shows how far we've come actually. Because 3 seasons ago we'd have been delirious with delight to get a try bonus point away at Sarries and not lose 58-12 or something. So our expectations are so much higher these days. However.
Yeah,
quite rightly so.
Yeah. I had some sad news, very sad news. Matt Impey was the photographer with Saracens for donkey's years. And I didn't know this, but at the beginning of the season, they replaced him. They let him go. Matt was actually one of the friendliest, most helpful guys in the Premiership. He always looked after. I think
you said it was the only reason really for going to the StoneX because everything else about it was dreadful apart from him.
And now I think they've got a contractor who wasn't even there yesterday, Paddy, who is the Bath photographer, was covering for him. So we had no point of reference that we could talk to. Not great. Yeah. Really not great. And I'm just really sad because one of the nice guys is, like many of the club photographers, has gone by the wayside. So
that's a shame.
In good news, I met a lovely chap. In fact, both togs at Chinnor because they have 2. But a guy called Dave Howlett is the club photographer at Chinnor. And he used to be the club photographer at Wasps. So he Yes, and he sent his very best wishes to Bobby Bridge, who, of course, our Bobby was one of the journos in the area, and then worked for Wasps for a bit. And he was really chuffed to see how well Bobby was getting on. Lovely guy, and you could tell it was one of those muddy days, because I noticed yesterday he'd done his gallery in black and white.
When you can't tell who's in what colour, it doesn't really matter anyway. But to return to the show that was at Sarri's, player of the match, there's a standout one as far as you're concerned.
Because, of course, I did witness all 80 minutes of horror. Yeah. And I think the player that deserves it this week is George Hendy.
Absolutely.
And there's two reasons. He kept going, like many of them did, several of them did, but you may have noticed that he had a large bandage on one of his legs. I was a bit worried that they were trying to put it on the right way round, and that might have, led to all sorts of major. But George made some fantastic breaks, and of course it was George's break that led to the try for Archie at the end of the game. And so for sheer bloody mindedness and just keeping going, I think George Hendy should win it.
There's a pattern here, isn't there? The making a break that a scrum half scores from and getting player of the match.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no. I was going to say, and as our player of the match award, of course, is far more valuable.
Well, Dr. Jones and I were talking in the car on the way home that, Teo Dan, man of the match. Seriously, TNT, were you watching the same flipping game? It was Tom Willis by a country mile. I mean, the guy was all over the place. I mean, he must have got fed up being flattened by Freemo and Finn, but he is a serious number 8. His carrying was immense during that game. So, it should have been Tom Willis on TNT. But more valuable, as you say, rightly, Mrs. Saunders. Ladies Wot Pod, man of the match, is George Hendy. And fortunately, the medics remembered feet wrong way round. Otherwise, we could all be in trouble.
Yeah, we could be. Yeah, and we're not going with a Sergeant Wilson award because nobody.
No, nobody did. No, nobody did. Anyway, the day before, the scene looked like this.
The tractor there to pull scrum out of the mud if they get suckered in.
Tractor display. I don't know how many visits it got, but look at Johnny Vyman here. Look, poor flower. This is in the first half, ladies and gentlemen. This is not, halfway through the second half. This is first half when the sun was setting.
Oh dear Lord!
Yeah, not good, eh?
Zero fun.
Yeah. The weather decided to have some fun with us. So about 10 minutes before kickoff, a huge storm came straight through the ground, and it was stair-rodding down. I was dripping. I was just like, what is going on here? And thank you to the PA who acknowledged that all 3 togs, because there may have been 4 of us, stayed out to continue working on the warm-up. Everybody else rushed into the bar. Oh, actually, Dr. Jones was very loyal. He stood behind me. But it just left us all wet and cold. Yeah. Ooh, but it finished off what chance you had with the pitch. The pitch was, when mud goes soupy and you get that sort of film on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like Bambi on ice. Yeah.
Yes. There's a chap in our village who does a Clarty report about going over the mud on the field. So those people who want to go walking over the fields, he does a Clarty report, and 10 being the clartiest. Down to your Clarty.
I don't know on his scale, but when I look down at my feet, and you look like you've got sort of tennis rackets round your boots because you just.
I think that's probably about. Probably about 8 on the Clarty, 8 to
Yeah.
9 on the Clarty.
Yeah.
I think 10 is when you're sinking it.
Tennis. Well, no, we were sinking. I was a bit.
No,
worried.
I mean sink. So you
walked across the pitch at the end to do the huddle, and I thought, actually reminded me of a match at Worcester once, where I went to take a photograph in the huddle, and John Clark had to rescue me. John was playing for Worcester by then, because I actually lost my boot.
Oh yes, that's a 10, I think. Yeah, that
so
level.
We were well up there on the, but I didn't lose the boot, so maybe it wasn't a 10. Yeah, no, it was absolutely horrible. It was a difficult game. Chinnor absolutely know the conditions that they play in because they play there every other week, and they were well up for it. Bedford were a scalp that they wanted. Bedford had there were several Saintsmen, and actually, if I were to choose a Ladies Wot Pod player of the match from Saturday, I would choose Finn Brown. Finn just kept going, and you could. I mean, he was just covered head to foot. Head to foot in mud. Bless him, but he just kept going.
A lot of head to foot as well. That's not a small amount of
Finn Brown head to foot. Yes, and you could only tell it was Finn because of his mouth guard when he opened his mouth. We had Johnny Vyman and George Makepeace Cubitt at fly half and scrum half, and it was a huge ask in such a difficult game. I would say that the right team won, and well done to Bedford for not being nilled, because at one stage it had every chance that they were going to get nilled, but they weren't. Yeah, so well done to them. And I now have the job of removing all the mud from the gear that I took on Saturday. It's just, but I'm going to leave it until after Christmas when everything's dry, and
you could sort of just chisel it off
and sort it out. Meanwhile, up in Manchester.
Oh yes. Oh, a lot more fun was being had. A lot more fun.
Before we get in that, congratulations to Geordie Irvine, who had an outstanding game on Saturday. He now plays for Chinnor, formerly of this parish. But yeah, he had a really, really good game on Saturday. So well done, Geordie. Okay. Yes, so they headed up north to Heywood Road. I've never been to Heywood Road. I feel like I've been shortchanged. Because by the time I started shooting for the Saints, they'd moved to Edgeley Park.
And then
and then they went on to what's now the Salford Community Stadium.
I don't know whether I have or not. I think I might have done, because I think when I was covering rugby for Walsall Rugby Club, I think we might have played Sale in a John Player Cup. Right. I know we played Orrell, and I have a feeling we played Sale as well in a different, I have a feeling there were 2 trips up the M6, but I might be wrong. It was a long time ago, and quite a lot of gin has been drunk since then. So,
anyway, a thumping victory for the Loughborough Lightning team. Well done there. Thumping victory. The highlights reel, well, it doesn't really do it justice. There are 2 moments of the game that I've drawn, which actually I think social media has drawn everybody's attention to. Fran Goldthorpe's ridiculous tap tackle. My God. That girl thought she must, the scrum half thought she must have been in. And
then suddenly.
That, and the tap tackle, it was like a sniper. Boom.
I love a good tap tackle. Love it.
It had the desired effect. And so well done, Fran. And then Chrissy Skirfield, our new Canadian winger, for sheer bloody mindedness. She must have, half the Sale team must have tried to tackle that girl as she hurtled up the field. Well done for a brilliant, determined try. But I'm just really chuffed for Nathan and his squad, because they're clearly working incredibly hard, and to put 50 points on the team away is something. Just ask Leicester Tigers. Working on the principle, there's always someone worse off than yourself.
Yes, yeah. I'll just say I'm really, really pleased for the girls, actually, that they've to get that such a confidence boost as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well chuffed for them.
Yeah.
So they've got a couple of weeks off now, haven't they?
They have.
They play again after the Bath game.
Yeah, they have. So yes, and I think that'll do them a power good because we can get some of those that had niggling injuries back. But I think Saturday will have done them a power of good. So yeah, well done to everybody. Now we do have a new signing.
We do have a new signing, yes.
Henry Walker, a Gloucester Academy product, has come from Ealing Trailfinders as hooker. So welcome aboard. Welcome to the madhouse, Henry. He was warming up on yesterday, looking a bit cold, like everybody was, and a bit of a lost soul. But I'm sure he'll rapidly be brought into the fold by Fergs. Yes. So because of course poor Robbie Smith had that awful injury earlier in the season, so Henry's come in as cover. So welcome aboard, Henry. And then we had two re-signings that we are both of us are absolutely made up about, aren't we, Mrs. S?
Yeah. Absolutely delighted with these two for different reasons. Well, no, they're both lovely, lovely young men who both play fantastically well in different ways. One of them plays fantastically well in the way nobody else has ever before or since played so fantastically well, I feel. So, yes. So, but first of all, one of our favourites, our personal, we don't have favourites, but we do, Mr. Dependable, Tom Litchfield, not only re-signed with a multi-year contract, is how Dowse phrases it, but he also got Cinch Player of the Month. So well done, Thomas.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. You know, we have sung Mr. Dependable's praises for some time because he is the ultimate team man. He just gets it done. And
on Saturday he was doing exactly the same again. You know, making the hard yards, doing the stuff that needed to be done. So we're really pleased. And then the other side,
she does know the game was on Sunday. She does know.
Oh, well, whatever. Yes, I know. I've got a cold. I'm not well.
Exactly.
Not well. Not well.
You know,
Sunday.
We'll
I'm trying to. It's one of those things. I may have to be in therapy for having to watch that game. So you know,
some of us were there live.
Well, I know that's probably easier than having to watch it when you know how bad it's been. Anyway, the other signing, which I think I was going to say is a great relief to a lot of people because you feel that there will have been a lot of interest in the one and only, thank goodness there is only one of him, Henry Pollock.
Another multi-year contract, and well done, Henry.
Yeah. Force of nature that is Henry Pollock. And talking to Sonny Tonga on the bus, and bless him, Sonny is lovely, but not the most outgoing of young men. And I just said to him, "No, the trick is, Sonny, just when you're going into a situation, think, what would Henry do?" And he looked slightly terrified. I said, dial it back about 50%, and then you're just an ordinary person. And he laughed and went, "I think I can do that." So
yeah. Well, he looked perfectly happy by the time he got to the StoneX, so your coaching worked. Yeah. So well done, Mrs.
But Henry,
to read an article about Henry in the Times this week.
Oh yes, yeah.
I joined some dots, didn't I? I think I'm right
here.
Oh,
you did. Yes. One of these rugby family trees.
The rugby family tree. So Henry comes to us from Buckingham Rugby. Buckingham are actually one of the teams who are regular attendees at Saints community tournaments. You often see Buckingham there in their green and white shirts. And Henry is a graduate of Buckingham Rugby. And they Times did a lovely article where they were actually interviewing his coaches through the years. All the way, obviously, to today's Sam Vesti. But one of them was Nick Glister. Now, everybody remember that name? Glister?
Yes.
He is, I reckon, because both Will and Henry are ex-Buckingham Rugby, I reckon Mr. Glister is Will's
dad.
So it's a small rugby world. But I did like the idea of Henry. I mean, you pointed out that under eights tend to do this anyway. But I just love the idea of trying to stick Henry out on the wing and then finding him 2 minutes later back in the middle because he wanted to be involved. Yes. Which is,
but to be honest, very much Henry today, but it is what under eights do. It just makes me laugh so much, even at the under 10s, where the coaches are going, spread out. And they do. They're spread out in a bunch, though. That's the problem. They're just sort of like absolutely
or
no idea.
Would do, she would oblige and spread out and find that she was the only one
who'd spread. Yes.
Everybody else was over there.
In a bunch. Yeah.
Yes.
So interesting.
And it's a lovely article, and basically it says, Henry comes from a very sporty family. His mum Hester is a triathlete, and Henry basically just lived a life of sport. And his energy levels it's unsurprising because if you come from that background, he is extraordinary. And he came bouncing onto the pitch yesterday in his usual style. And just got stuck in. So, anyway, congratulations, Henry. You deserve it. It's and it's great to see that you've got a contract so soon. Anyway, as for the rest of the rumour mill, just keyboard warriors, stand down, stand easy.
What will be, will be. What will be, will be.
Seriously. And right, I am going to say one thing, and I'll only say. Oh, sorry, I put my pen down. I'll only say it once.
Listen
to the
very
keyboard
carefully.
warriors who say Finn Smith goes missing.
No, don't say
games. What the actual? Stand down from your keyboards. Go and have a gin and tonic. Pull a Christmas cracker and have a mince pie. And then look at yourself in the mirror. Seriously. We always say, as Saints supporters, we're on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
It's just a bit steep at the minute, and it will go round it again. I mean, try being, as I am, a Spurs supporter and a Saints supporter. It's like this.
Yeah.
When you've got a semi-final against a team that's just beaten you 3-6 at home. Yeah, no. Not good for the heart rate. Anyway, so, yes, so congratulations to everybody who's got new contracts. Somebody else has got something new. Mr. Furbank?
Oh, yes, I was going to... Somebody else got... Yes, apparently got a new arm. I don't think it's a new arm. I think it's his old arm that has just been operated on. His Insta.
He's gone all bionic by the sounds of it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's probably not allowed,
Do you remember the start of the Bionic Man? It's George thinking
yeah.
I
don't... So his picture of him in a...
Yes.
Yes, we have.
And
in a hospital bed.
He was at the darts last night. He was at Ali Pally. And they clearly had to put him on the side that had him through with his left hand, rather than obviously he's right-handed, I think. So, but his arm was very much in a sling. But they all look like they're having a jolly time.
Good. Well, yeah, get well soon, Ferbs, and
we'll see you soon.
What will be, will be. We will see you soon.
Will be. So yeah. So congratulations to everybody who's got new contracts and new arms. Bionic
and new arms, yes.
And congratulations to everybody who was involved in the panto.
Which wasn't a panto.
Enormous amount of money that was raised.
I know, huge. But it wasn't a panto. It was sort of like a carol service with some carols and some songs that Beef had rewritten the words to, which were really good. It was typical Beef production, high energy, low rehearsal, hysterical, very, very funny. The 10 Days of Christmas. I'm sure Manny must have heard the song before, must have known that really it should be, the 5 is quite an integral part of the song. The whole song hinges on it, but yeah, he had to be coach through that, but it's very good. But no, fantastic, and over £9,000 raised for the foundation. So all really, really good fun. Sang along. The players mingled with the crowd at half time / interval. So I went and did a bit mingling, and I was intrigued to know, because we'd just sung "O Come All Ye Faithful," and I was intrigued to know who'd been a choir boy in their younger days who wanted to sing, because the "Come All Ye Faithful," if ever you sung in a choir as a choir boy, the last verse has this wonderful descant, absolutely beautiful descant bit. So I said to Ewan, were you a choir boy? Did you want to sing that descant? And he said, I did. I said, I bet Archie, as Archie came up, Archie, I bet you were a choir boy. Bet you could have sung that descant. And he said, yeah, I did. So that was quite entertaining. And then I was having a chat with Mr. Dependable about South African stuff. And I did say, you can go, you're supposed to be going to mingle. Go and mingle. No, I'm all right. He said, no, I'll stay talking to you. And that was the point where I said about Dr. T's proposal that he has a Matt Litchfield sector of the Ladies Wot Pod.
That's right. Yes.
Mr. Dependable's having none of it. Absolutely not. No, definitely not. And by that time, there were quite a few. So Craig Wright was there, and I think Archie and Ewan mingling. They didn't want to mingle with people they didn't know, so they were mingling with me, basically. I just didn't think was the point, but, well, never mind. So, and I said, well, no, I don't think it's. I said, it's Ladies Wot Pod. And Craig's going, it's Ladies Wot Pod. You don't need. So they were getting quite animated about the fact that, the clue's in the title and there is no space. I said, I understand.
They haven't got themselves organised yet. So,
No, I did say, I do understand, gentlemen, that as white males you find it a struggle to get your voices heard and in the media at all. To which even they in their youth laughed. So, yeah.
Well, we await the first episode of Matt Litchfield's Dad Joke Corner when it comes.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
crack on.
Moving on.
Let me know how that goes. Yes. So carol service was brilliant. Really wonderful night. Yeah. Good.
Now,
and well done, Beef. Well done, Beef, who's discovering that 9 till 5 working isn't always 9 till 5. So arrived a little late. Oh, and the wonderful Lincoln on the piano.
Oh, the pianist.
Yes, absolutely brilliant. It was as brilliant as ever. So thank you very much, Beef. It was grand way to kick
well
off.
Done, everybody. Well done. Good singing, everybody.
Yes.
Walking rugby. Thanks to Walking Rugby, I think we have a new potential Ladies Wot, don't we? The Ladies Wot jump off.
Yes, Ladies Wot lost and found. Yes,
What's training kit.
So I was there. So obviously we practice in the barn, and I was looking. I thought that's this season's kit there, training kit. Well, it's got initials on, so it's oh right, let's have a look. And I haven't got my phone. I sent the photo to you, didn't I? So there were 3 of the tops, all belonging to forwards, and then a further one belonging to a 4th forward, because you can work out from their initials who they are. So 2 props, and a second row, and then a back row with the other one. Yeah. So forwards losing their kit. So I just folded it neatly and put it back in the stash. But bearing in mind, the week before, they'd had BBOB had been training in there. That stuff could very easily just gone walkabout, because it's look, let's make no bones. It's what people do. They just go, oh, well, this has been abandoned. I'll have it. So I think next time, if it's all there, I might fold it neatly, put it somewhere safe. I hold it to ransom. Raise funds for somebody, yeah.
Yes. A little message to Lizzie saying, we know where it is.
Yeah,
yes.
I know where it is.
Yes.
If they cough up,
they cough up, they get it back. Yes. Or the tracksuit gets it. Anyway.
It goes in.
They don't call them tracksuits, do they, these days?
No, they don't. They don't. It goes in the auction at the end of the season that we've just devised. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Do we want to discuss the general what on earth is happening at HQ? Do we even want? Do we know?
We should. Yeah, I think we should.
I mean, for goodness' sake,
we're as valid voices as all the others that are going on. Oh, she's gone deaf again, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I'm back. I'm back.
But her ears are back again. Thank God for that. So we had the resignation of Tom Eilub on Friday, was it? And the Times and the Mail and various other newspapers
Friday morning
were
or something
that they'd wheeled in. Recently retired. I'm not even going to say his name.
Mr. Beaumont, yes. Joss's dad.
Yes, Josh's dad. Yes. Well, he's a lovely lad, actually. He's a very nice man. Always very polite when I bump into him at Sale. Anyway, yes, in he came. And there's still going to be an emergency meeting between now and the end of February because there can't be. The National One clubs are upset. The Champ clubs, apparently the Champs club's motion was rejected because they didn't fill the form in right or something weird.
Oh, good Lord.
But the referees were upset. So there is a general view that the way that the RFU is being run, the way that the relationship is being managed with the clubs and all those volunteers and refs and whatever, and the grassroots rugby and beyond is just not working at the moment. So we wait and see.
Well,
How will everybody get what they want out of it? Probably not, because although there are lots of voices saying we need to change, how we need to change is not clear. But
I think one thing is very clear. We do not pay eye-watering bonuses for people who've overseen loss after loss after loss.
I mean, that is the obvious thing. And there's clearly something not right with the elite men's game as it currently stands, because we're not performing on the pitch. We seem to have a merry-go-round of coaches, which has been going on for several years now. It's not that it just happened in the last few weeks. So something has to change. I just noticed what's going on with me. That is look. My dishwasher's misbehaving.
Oh, it is, yeah. What was I going to say? I thought the most telling group that got involved in this, and sort of quite an early in the most recent round, is the referees. The fact that the referees have got involved, to me, and as my IT department was saying, well, given that they are supposed to be impartial, the fact that they have got involved tells you that there really is something rotten going on, I feel. That,
there's something not very, very much not right with what's going on in English rugby at the moment. So do we know what's going to happen? No. I think one of the things we do, and I'm going to get shot for this, so, I think one of the things we do need to look at, and you and I have talked about this before, is this romantic notion about the Premiership and the Championship.
Yes.
The Championship needs a lot more investment. A lot more investment. It in its current state, it is not the feeder for the Premiership. This idea that, if an Ealing were to win, anyone who's been to Trailfinders Ground it's not the 5,000, 10,000 thing is irrelevant. Yeah, it's the facilities for the players. It's the backup for the players. It's everything that goes behind the scenes. All the things that, the Saints and the other clubs in the Premiership work incredibly hard at. Now, can they get there? Yes, with investment. Some of them will get there. Your Coventries, maybe your Ealings, maybe your Doncasters. But they're not there yet. And so this smokescreen of the size of crowd is not really the point. I think the RFU and the clubs have to work out how they can invest in the Championship that it can get to the appropriate time. Because we need to look after the players. When all said and done, it's not about, if we're going to get these elite athletes hurtling at each other each week, we've got to keep them safe.
Yeah.
And I fear that we're going to put people in a bad place if we don't invest in the right way.
And I think that's it, isn't it? I mean, because the Championship clubs did get more money prior to recent years, and they just spent it on names and actually the money needs to be spent on things rather than names. So it needs to be spent. Well, it needs to be spent on infrastructure within the clubs and ground staff and medical staff, quite probably as well, strength and conditioning staff, that sort of thing. Not on your latest Fijian who's heading for retirement or whatever they were buying before.
And I think some of the clubs have got that. I think you can see with the way that Coventry are investing.
Yes.
They are investing heavily, but they've got a long way to go. You know, they're a very, very benevolent owner who is putting the money in. But saying that, you know, the crowds have to grow as well, and they won't naturally come. Build it and they will come was not necessarily. We tried that before and it didn't work. So there's something about the championship that we have to invest. So yes, it's difficult times for English rugby, and we've got to get our act together. And at the moment, the union is not supporting the game in the way that it needs to. So there needs to be change. And paying yourself lots of money is no.
I was going to say
it
doesn't help. With the feeling that the people at HQ are fiddling while Rome burns. And read into that. Use the word fiddling what you will. On that note.
Yes. So, all is not good. Now, next up for Saints.
Newcastle.
Is Newcastle. So, yes, at the Gardens. And we had, it's going to be interesting to see what we get, response we get from the lads. I hope they have a good Christmas. I do hope they, their day off, ironically, is Wednesday, which of course is Christmas Day. But they will be.
I suspect Christmas Eve has been very uncomfortable for them all. I suspect.
Well, I think they would have got, because it was yesterday was the match. I think they would have got today off. I think it's tomorrow. It's going to be.
I think they're in. I think they were in today. God. I'm sure they said they were in today. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. It would have been if they're in today. Then that would be very uncomfortable.
Sure, they said they were. Sure, they said they were in. They've got Wednesday off. But they were in today because they're playing on Saturday. Of course, I think they'll have. I think they'll have been in today. Whatever. To be honest.
Yes. Well, they're big boys. They've got to face what happened.
Absolutely. Anyway, so Newcastle at home. I'll be haloing. Hello. Here's help.
I will have the cameras. Dr. Jones, I believe, will be haloing.
I believe so. So. Come and say hello to the halos.
I did buy my tickets. Not that I need a ticket. But I did buy my tickets last week for Coventry for my friends who are flying over from Arizona. They've got their seats in the A1 position. Perfect view down the ground. They're in the cinch stand, just where we wanted. And so they will have, so if we could have a try celebration in front of them, boys, that would be lovely. Just see if we can get that organised.
Well, we are bringing Harry to Newcastle. And... I know he's very excited, and my two stepsons, my extra sons, are coming as well. So
excellent. So will Harry be interviewing any of the players post game?
No, he might get a bit overwhelmed, but yes.
And the international man of mystery is being mysterious.
He's not coming. He's being mysterious. Well, he has admitted that really he finds sitting still for 80 minutes just too much. And he's quite happy to wait until he's older. But he'll be coming to the Munster game because it's their festival. But yes, it's he's not not that bothered.
I've got visions of an Alfie running on the pitch and standing next to Henry. A bundle of energy. Over here.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes.
One of my newest recruits. Alfie, age 7. Is he 7? Yeah. He's 7, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 7.
Yeah,
he's 7.
Alfie, age 7. Yeah. Role model, Henry Pollock.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. You could just see it. Sorry, Mum, I'm off. I can't sit still. I'm going to go and help him.
I'm going to go and say hello to Henry. Yeah, you've nothing there. Well, too late.
Yes. Yes. So International Man of Mystery won't be there. Excellent. Okay. Well,
No, not this game.
but Harry will.
So,
Well,
yes.
it'd be lovely to meet Harry.
Yes,
I
yes,
haven't
he's
met
looking
him
forward
before.
to
I
it.
put photos of him scoring a try for Toaster, I seem to recall.
His first try, his first game. So he's he's very excited. He's looking forward to it. So, and I have promised, Curtis pikelets. So
So we've got a pikelet delivery. Excellent.
pikelet delivery as well. Yeah,
Excellent, excellent. Well, I will be there with the cameras. Dr. Jones will be there, probably playing Matt Litchfield.
Well, yeah. Thomas,
God,
if you
can
could
you
do
imagine?
Anna.
We've got
Anna, if you could
hide the crackers for God's sake.
Oh my God! Oh please!
Can you imagine the horror?
Set fire to the crackers now! For the love of God, please! Set fire
Save
to
the
crackers.
nation. Oh Lord.
Oh God. Yes.
Anyway,
On that note,
we would like to say thank you to everybody who has watched the pod. It is some really, really lovely feedback. And I bumped into Sasha, Alex Wolford's mum at Chinnor.
Oh yeah,
she's an avid listener. Yes, so I know lots of the mums and dads listen, and lots of supporters are loving what we do. So we are going to keep going. If you have any ideas, come and find us at a game. You know, there's a woman with a large sign saying Halo and a hat that says Halo. There she is.
That's me.
Yeah. So go and give us some ideas.
Small woman, large sign. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I'm obviously in my red hat, but we'd love any feedback. We'd love to hear from you. We love what we do. We've been Saints supporters for years. We know the roller coaster ride can be a bit queasy.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And so we're not going anywhere.
And we've seen worse. We've seen worse.
Oh, if we had to name the games that have been worse over the last few decades,
we'd still be on Christmas Day, to be honest.
Yesterday's horrors doesn't come anywhere near.
No. I've suddenly had a flashback to a game at London Irish, actually, that was awful. Absolutely awful. I think we lost them out. I don't know. I would say 46-0. I don't think it was that, but we lost really, really heavily not that long ago, and it was just like.
Was that the Boxing Day game where Dr. Jones ranted the entire game? Might have been. He doesn't normally rant, but I do.
No, it wasn't Boxing Day.
We were awful. Lost to not very many.
No, it wasn't a Boxing Day.
It wasn't Boxing Day. Okay. No. Yes, London Irish were the team that we could rely on to trip us up for a while. Do you remember? They were our bony team for a bit.
They were. Yeah. That blasted Reading Stadium. I don't think.
God, I've got cold in there. Oh.
I don't think I've ever seen. I don't
whether
think
it was May or wherever. Yeah, you just got cold. Curtis did ask me while stood on the running track at the StoneX. He looked at it and went, "Do they actually sprint along here?" And I went, "Yes, Shaftesbury Harriers, Shaftesbury Barnet Harriers, I think they are. It's their home ground, and I have shot athletics there." And he looked really impressed. He went, "Oh, it's real." I said, "Yes, it's real, Curtis."
No, if you say you don't believe in it, it doesn't die. No, it's there.
And the wind helps you. The prevailing wind at the StoneX, if you are a 100-metre sprinter, it's behind you. So it does help
behind you.
Yeah.
It would take more than a prevailing wind to help me sprint 100 metres, to tell you. But, on that note, I'm going to go and take some menthol sweetie things for my cough and some paracetamol, ready for the big push into Christmas. You are just now going to naff off and have a lovely Christmas.
I'm not quite naffing off yet. I've got to go and do my last stretching and being put into funny shapes.
Oh, music and movement stuff.
Music and movement stuff. I've got my last class where I look a complete pillock. Dr. Jones didn't help me at all with my campaign trying to stretch my way. He went, "You see what Alex Coles is doing?" Alex is bouncing on all fours and, doing this and all the rest of it. I went, "Yeah." He said, "That's what you're supposed to do." I went, "No, it's not happening." He's an elite athlete. I am not. Yes.
Not. That should be interesting. Very interesting. Some of the stuff that Lee Daggett gets me doing, I'm thinking, I think you're mistaking me for somebody who's got any semblance of fitness. But
I have to say though, things are moving that didn't used to move. So maybe you know.
I know.
It
is quite remarkable.
There's a muscle now that's working. Yes.
It's like I can put my socks on without falling over. I can balance on one foot.
No, that's very good.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. Yeah. So
I'm still not going to be able to do what Fraser Dingwall does and what Alex Coles does. It's not happening. It's just not happening.
I'd have been hard pressed to do that at 26, let alone at 66. So, right.
Anyway,
on that note,
have a lovely Christmas.
I'm really sorry we've ruined Christmas for so many people who are trying not to imagine us doing that. So sorry. Really sorry. Not enough brain bleach.
Block that
have a lovely Christmas.
Just think mince pies and having a good time.
Yeah.
Have a lovely time, Mrs. Saunders.
Burn the crackers.
I'm naffing off south, yes, to the coast. Yes.
Yeah.
Be pampered for a few days. Yes.
Lovely. Have a lovely one, and we will see you all next. Well, see some of you next Saturday, and we will regroup for podding next Monday. Whenever. Yeah. Okie dokie. Thanks, everybody. Merry Christmas. Bye.
Merry Christmas.